People of the verse, hello and welcome back to the channel. This is the Eradicator, and in today's video we are going to talk about the upcoming Alien Week, which has been announced very recently. The Alien Week, which is used to celebrate the first contact of humanity with alien races. Of course, this is an in-lore event. And so, as a result, I was wondering if this wouldn't be the opportunity for CIG to have a little sale once again, because, yeah, sure, we had Invictus launch week, but at the same time, we only had combat or military-related vehicles for sale. But all of those alien vehicles, on the other hand, were not for sale, and this could be another chance for CIG to grab a little bit of extra cash. So here we go, let's talk about it. But first, guys, before that, I want to talk about today's sponsor, which is my second channel. It is Small Turismo. Small Turismo is all about action-packed, small die-cast racing cars. And we are really having a lot of fun watching them going down the hill and racing as crazy as possible. So please give me a little hand over there. Please visit the link in the description down below and give it a like or subscribe to the channel, as it really is really appreciated. Anyway, guys, let's talk about those alien ships now, because I really all indications here are telling us that there is probably going to be a sale. It wouldn't be surprising. So we're going to talk about those alien ships, what they are, why you should or shouldn't buy them. So let's get started. So the first ship that we're going to talk here is the Kratua. So these are Xi'an ships, by the way, for those of you who were wondering. They are made by a brand called Aopoa, which doesn't mean anything. It's just that the Xi'ans thought that the symmetrical looks of those letters just looked nice. That was Xi'an mentality according into Indo. And so the first ship here is the Kratua, which is a kind of a scout ship. It looks pretty cool, let's be honest. It is very maneuverable because its thrusters can go pretty much in any direction. This is one of the key characteristics of those Xi'an ships, but the trade-off it has is that it only has two light guns that are not very powerful. So you are trading off firepower for maneuverability. It's a choice that some people might be taking. Some people might also be choosing this ship because of the cool factor. The Kratu originally was costing $150, but the price rose to $170. This is a ship that I have tried several times, and I was never really convinced by the ship. It is very cool, that's for sure. You may eventually choose to use it for the novelty or choose to go to point A to point B, but that's pretty much it if you are interested. From the same manufacturer here, we're going to talk about the Santockki. I think that I'm pronouncing it correctly here, which is more of a heavy fighter here. It has 4 size 3 guns here mounted pretty much on each side of the hull of the ship. So this one has more firepower, but it is going to be much slower, obviously, than the Kratua, but still also at the same time going to have that maneuverability that is going to be very typical of the Xi'an ships. The Santockki was only sold once. Was also to call it an anniversary, by the way, from last year, but it's a much more recent ship than the Kratu, and every time the Santockki was sold, it was sold at $220. I think that if you are interested in alien ships, and at the same time you're looking for a combat version of an alien ship, this could be it. This would be the one that I would recommend here at $220. It is also possible that the ship will increase in price as it gets closer to production and eventually release, which, don't get me wrong, guys, I probably don't think that it is going to happen anytime soon, because it definitely isn't a priority. There are other ships that players are definitely expecting before this comes, but nevertheless, I think that at its price right now, $220, given the inflation on ships, it could be a great bargain. Coming up next is the NOX Same, also from Aopoa, and this is basically the alien version of the bikes that we have in the verse, you know, the counterpart of the X1 of Origin or the Dragonfly from Drake. And this was originally sold at, if I am correct, at $40, and now it is sold at, and the last time it was sold at $45, so it also had a price increase. But given that it's a bike and given how limited their uses is, I don't think that the price is going to increase much. I don't imagine the NOX getting in the marks of $50 or $55, for example. Coming up next is the Banu Defender from Banu Suli here, which is kind of the Banu mega corporation, I would say, from lore. And the Suli only make a few ships, but they want these ships to be used generations after generations, which is why they don't see the need for having multiple ranges of different ships. They are not very good at marketing either. I mean, some of the commercials for ships were really hilarious. Maybe I should put them at the end for you guys to check out. And here we're talking about the Defender here, which is the combat version of any ships that will be made by the Banu. It is already available in the verse for those of you who do have it, and it is definitely a very exotic looking ship that is quite capable in combat. But the problem with the Defender, just like the Prowler, by the way, we're going to talk about the Prowler later, is that once its shields are depleted, it takes a long time for the shields to come back. That would be my only problem here with the Defender. Also, it is best operated with 2 people, like one engineer and one actual pilot. And so if you don't mind flying on, from an eccentric position here, well, it could be an interesting alternative to a ship, let's say, for example, like a Gladius, perhaps. And the Defender was originally sold at $170. It also saw some inflation. There's a tremendous amount of work that was done with the Banu Defender, by the way. This is really looking exotic and alien, and I think that they totally nailed this here, giving us a good representation of what the merchantman is going to come to be in the future. So originally sold at $170, it was last sold at $220. I don't think that it is going to increase in price, mainly because, well, it turns out that this is not really a popular ship. I mean, who flies a Banu Defender universe? I've never seen anyone flying a Banu Defender in 3.9, for example. But maybe some people might be interested, but I don't think that the demand here is going to justify a price increase, which is why I think it's going to stay at $220. And next is the Merchantman. Now, the Merchantman is definitely a backer's favorite, and I think that this could possibly be the last time that the Merchantman is going to be at, I would say, it's in quotes, an affordable state. And I'm going to tell you why, by the way. So the Merchantman originally, guys, was sold at $250. It was extremely cheap for what it was, and I think that the reason why the Merchantman was cheap was because the devs had no idea about how popular it would eventually turn out to be. The Merchantman is also popular because it has a huge cargo capacity. We're talking about over 3,500 SU of cargo capacity. Now, of course, given the length of the ship, this is a ship that is supposed to be 160 meters long, so maybe a huge part of the ship is going to be the cargo hold, but it is also going to have like a small shopping center or department store inside. So most people here, most backers who are interested in the Merchantman are thinking that it's probably going to be less than 3,500 SU. Nevertheless, originally sold at $250. The last time the Merchantman was sold at $425. And it's probably going to be sold at that price again, but given how expensive, for example, the Prowler is, the Prowler was sold at $500 the last time that it was sold when it was released. I don't think that the Merchantman is going to end up being cheaper than the Prowler, which is a smaller gunship. This ship is going to be big, and this ship is going to be a big money maker to anyone owning Merchantman. So that's why I would totally imagine some inflation going over $600, or maybe this ship is going to become limited in the future. So if there is a chance the Merchantman to be sold during this upcoming Alien Week, this is going to be the last time, because I really believe that in the future, maybe as close as the next anniversary sale, this ship is going to be more expensive as it gets closer to production. And next, of course, we ought to talk about Esperia at the same time. Esperia is producing replicas of alien ships, especially Vandal ships, such as the Blade, for example, the Glaive, originally sold at $350. This is kind of a heavy, the saber equivalent of a spear. Yeah, it is a ship that has a lot of firepower, but at the same time, it's kind of a glass cannon. It's also, once the shield depletes, it is also quite fragile. So you have maneuverability, you have firepower, but at the same time, the ship is quite weak when it is losing its shield. $350, I think, is also very expensive. You have the cool factor, but that's pretty much it, in my opinion. The blade the blade here has the same is the same, except that it looks a little bit sleeker here than the glaive, and it is called here a light fighter. So it's not like the glaive, which is a bit heavier. So that would be the SPR equivalent again of a gladius, whereas the glaive here will be the equivalent of a saber. And finally, the prowler, which was completed at the beginning of Star Citizen about 3.9. The dropship here from the Teravid sold at $500. Currently, I think that it is temporary, of course, but currently the best combat ship there is in the verse right now, probably because CIG wanted to sell a lot of those here. It was also told many times by CIG that this would eventually change, because this is not supposed to be a dogfighter. It's supposed to be a dropship, so don't expect the product to be the best ship in combat in the future. Nevertheless, $500 once again is a very hefty price that you should consider before eventually spending it. And finally, we are going to talk about Misc here. I do believe that some Misc ships are going to be sold even in the future. We are, especially because we know that Misc do have partnerships with the Xians, so it could make sense if especially a ship like the Reliance series would be sold. The Reliance series, which has several variants, it was reworked not too long ago. The Tana, which is the if I'm correct, the Tana, which is the military version, the Sen is the scientific version, and the Mako is for news reporting, which is a mechanic that is going to be done, well, far in the future, right? It's going to be interesting if you are a content creator, I suppose. But right now, the only two ships that are very useful are the regular Reliant and the Reliant Tana also, which is the combat variant of the ship. And that's pretty much it for these alien ships that are present in the verse right now. Do I believe that there's going to be a sale? I really do. I really do think that there's going to be a sale, and I'm telling you why, guys. CIG now has investors, the Colton family. The Colton family wants to have some return on investment, and the best way to have return on investment is to make as much profit as possible, especially by selling limited ships that are very highly demanded by backers, such as, some alien ship, especially the Banu Merchantman. I promise you guys, if CIG puts the Banu Merchantman for sale during an anniversary sale or a whatever sale, an alien sale like this would be, they would again make millions of dollars. That is a guarantee. That is a guarantee. And CIG now does need to make millions of dollars because they don't want to make the investors angry, and they still need all of that money to complete Squadron 42 and secure more developments for the verse. I'm totally all for that. The more money Star Citizen makes, the more secure the project is. So I'm totally digging that. I have no issue with that. If there could be some sales all the time, because you don't need to spend money all the time, of course, but it's great to give people the opportunity to spend money if they want to be spending money. So I think there should be regular sales. This is something that they seem to be doing this year. That's totally fine with it. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope that you appreciated this video about alien ships. This was basically my humble opinion about those ships, should you buy them or not. I would personally, the one that I'm the most interested in, if I were to buy one of those alien ships, that would be the Santockki. And if I had the means, probably a merchant as well, because I do believe that the merchantman is going to be really expensive in the future. But please, guys, tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Which alien ship is your favorite? Do you like alien ships, or are you humanity first? Please tell me in the comments down here. As far as I'm concerned, guys, I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow for another video about Star Citizen. Thank you so much for watching again. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and that like button, as it really, really helps this channel a lot. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.